We know that golf is played from the lower body, therefore, our hips are going to take a lot of abuse. With the more reps and practice we put in, our hips are going to get tighter. So I want to take you through some mobility exercises and a mobility progression for our hips. I'm going to start you on the floor, bring you up to your feet. This is something you can perform every day after your round, pre-round. You need to keep your hips flexible and mobile, because as we age, as time goes on, they're going to get tighter and tighter. It's something I've noticed as I'm in long drive. The more practice I put in, the tighter I'm getting in my hips. So let's go over our mobility routine. First thing we're going to want to do is just warm up our glutes, just with a simple bridge. So we can do this anywhere from 5 to 10 times. Really focus on the flexion of the glute muscle. We'll come up on our knees and do the same thing. Here we're just working hip extension. So we're coming up, again, flexing the glutes and trying to get that belt line flat rather than tilted back. So we want to get our hips extended all the way through. Same thing, run through that a few times. I then want to kick a leg out. This is the same movement. Now I'm just working the mobility in my hip a little bit. Okay, both sides. So we're working our hip extension and we're working the mobility in that hip. Okay, let's go back, laying on our back. We'll hook this leg. I want to go both to this side and work the external and the internal rotation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang out here, take a huge breath, fill my rib cage, try to expand the rib cage, exhale, and then I'm going to go to the other side. Okay, we're obviously going to do that on both legs. External, take that huge breath, come back to center, then go to internal, work that huge breath. Okay, from here, I want to do my favorite exercise, a squat to stand. So we're going to grab our toes if you can, or if you lack the mobility, maybe we're here or here is fine. We're going to work down as far as we can. This is our ideal position. I realize most of you can't get there, so again, if you have limited mobility, maybe we're here. The idea is to open up those hips and then work the hamstrings on the way back. Okay, so it's basically a reverse toe touch. You're starting from the bottom, working to the top. Okay? And then continuing our squat pattern, what we're going to do to try to get the best mobility that we can, get as low as we can, is use a counterweight, dumbbell, kettlebell, whatever you have. We're going to hold this out, squat down as far as we can. And again, this is for mobility, so I'm trying to keep my posture and get absolutely as low as I can, and then come back up. Okay? The next progression will be to hold this out, squat all the way down. We're going to drop this, hold our position, and then come up. That's going to work our stability as well as our mobility. 2 more for you. Okay, these are called windshield wipers. I'm just going to sit out in kind of this split position, rotate my foot from side to side as far as I can. Okay, let's say we do 20 or 30 over here, 20 or 30 over here. Okay, and you can hang out here for an extended period of time. The idea is to try to get these hips to loosen up. Last one, and the hardest one, this figure 4. Okay, 90 degrees on the front side, 90 degrees on the back. We're going to try to get our sit bones down on the ground and our hips to release. I want you to sit here for 5 minutes aside, if that's what it takes. You'll notice when I go to the other side that this hip is much tighter, okay, because this is the hip that takes the most abuse. When I sit in this position for 5 minutes, eventually this hip will work its way down, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do, work on that internal rotation and get some more flexibility there. So I can go through that progression. Don't get too hung up on what exercise comes next. Just work through there, give yourself time, and try to loosen up those hips.